Everyone, this is John, and today we'll be looking at part 2 of the IELTS speaking exam. So the marking criteria in part 2 is the exact same as part 1. You will be marked based on your pronunciation, your grammar, fluency and vocabulary. However, this question is considered more difficult than the last because it tests your English by using more in-depth questions. So what are the other similarities and differences? Unlike the last questions we looked at, the ones in part 2 are almost impossible to predict. So don't bother trying to memorize answers because it's very unlikely to help you. I would also say don't try to memorize answers for part 1 either. What you should do is practice answering different ones, know what to expect, and know how to answer the question. And hopefully by the end of this video and the next one, you will know how to answer the questions of the speaking test part 2. So this question, like I said, is more difficult, and what's also quite unique compared to the last question is you will be given a card with the question on it and then allowed 1 minute to think. So prepare your answer, write down some key words or phrases, and then have 2 minutes to answer it. You will likely be asked to describe something in your own past, future, or present, and this can be a personal experience, your own opinion, or just even to describe someone or something. And the topic will be very specific. So unlike part 1, it can be very general, this will be very specific to one thing. And here are some things to remember. This is your chance to show off your skills, so show off your grammar, your vocabulary, use different tenses, past, future, present. These are all great ways to get extra marks. And you will be given a card like this here, and the question will be at the top. For example, describe an old person, and you will be given 4 bullet points. You don't actually have to mention any of these bullet points when you answer. These are just to help give you ideas. So you don't need to worry that you can't think of something for the last bullet point. All that matters is that you answer the question at the top. And then lastly, you have 2 minutes of uninterrupted talking. So keep talking as much as you can, add in as much detail as you can until the examiner just tells you to stop. If you don't know what to say, you've finished early, then you can just let the examiner know and say that that's everything I have to say. Here are some other things to remember. Telling a story is always a good way to answer these questions, so it more easily lets you talk in different tenses or give your opinions. And if you wish to get higher marks, you should try to use some of these here. So comparatives, opinions, conditionals, these are all big words that might sound a bit like frightening or confusing, but they're actually quite simple. They mean simple things. Comparatives are it's just a word that compares 2 different things. For example, bigger, faster, or stronger. He is faster than me, she is bigger than me, something like that. Opinion, I believe that, whatever. So the more you can include, the higher the marks you will get. But you don't have to include all of them. I will also say in this video and the next one, I'm going to show you some easier ways of including these different things into your answers to get a higher mark. So how do we start our answer? A lot of students have trouble with beginning their sentence, but they're fine for the rest of it. So if you got the question, tell me about a beautiful place to visit in your country, how would you start it? I will give you a template. The template is, I'm going to tell you about, and then you just copy the question. So I'm going to tell you about a beautiful place to visit in Hong Kong or in China called whatever. So this is quite a simple way to start the answer. It's very easy to remember and it will get you some marks, but it's not the most impressive way. If you want to get more marks, you should use a thing called paraphrasing. This is when you reword something. So we're going to reword the question in our answer. And this is my example. There are many stunning places in Hong Kong. However, I believe that whatever is the best. So this shows a more advanced level of English. It also more easily allows you to introduce your own opinion. So you can say, I believe that, or in my opinion, something is the best. And I have a template of this that you guys can use. Obviously, this is more difficult, and if you're more confident with the other phrase, the more simpler phrase, you can use it. This one will require modification based on the question or the tense. So we get the question here, describe someone you respect. Well, there are many amazing people I could talk about, but I suppose the person I have the deepest respect for is. Likewise, if we got the last question, describe a beautiful place, you could say, well, there are many stunning places I could talk about, but I suppose the best place in Hong Kong is. So here are my final points. Add in as much detail as you can, more than the last questions in part 1, because you have 2 whole minutes to talk about it. Put in who, what, where, when, why, if you can. If you don't understand the question, just ask the examiner to explain it to you. You don't want to mess this up. And in the next video, I will be including templates for you guys to use to help you answer, as well as some model answers. So that is everything for today. I hope I could help you guys out a bit. Let me know if you have any questions, and thank you for watching.